Hi, it's Ingrid from Conducting Artistry. In this video, we're going to look at how you can listen to a piece of music, maybe one that you're already playing and you have your part for, or a piece that maybe you've never heard before or never played before, and using your instrumental part, work out who else in the ensemble has the melody. So, for example, if you're playing the trombone in the orchestra, being able to work out at all the different points in the piece who has the melody and what those instruments are. We're going to be using an example from IMSLP, which is the International Music Score Library Project. If you haven't been there before, it's a fantastic place to look at all sorts of music from a massive span of musical history, and you can download all the music for free. And lots of the music has not just the sheet music. They'll have the conductor's score, so it has all the parts of the ensemble, plus the parts for the individual players, so your trombone part or your violin part, and most of them also have recordings. And of course you can go on YouTube or Spotify or Apple Music or wherever you listen to music to also listen to recordings of these pieces. We're going to be using the music from the Carmen Suite No. 1 by Bizet, which is pretty famous. And we're going to be looking at the trombone 1 part that I've downloaded off IMSLP. If you want to download your part of the music for this piece, you can go to the link below and you can go straight to that site, download the part for your instrument, or if you're feeling brave, you can download the part for another instrument and follow along through the tutorial. Once you've watched the video, you can do this with a piece that you're doing in your ensemble. So if you've got your second violin part or your first clarinet part, you can sit down and apply this method to whatever piece it is that you're working on in your ensemble. So I've been on IMSLP and I've found my part, trombone 1, for the Bizet Carmen Suite No. 1, and I've printed it out. So now what I'm going to do is have a listen to the piece. So I've got it up on Spotify, or you can use YouTube, and we're just going to have a listen to the recording and follow the music along while the recording's going. Two, three, 3, 2, 3. Two, 3, 2, 3, 4, 2, 3, 5, 2, 3. Two, 3, 2, 2, 3, 3, 2. Cool, and then that's it. So, I noticed a couple of things while we were listening to that. I noticed that this line here, which says Fag 1, which means bassoon 1 in German, is sounds like what I think is probably the tune here. And I thought that I maybe heard that tune in this bar's rest as well. And then this bit sounded a bit different to me. So now what I'm going to go back and do is we want to find out, our job for today is trying to listen to where the melody is and who's playing it. So we've got a clue here that it might be bassoon 1. So let's listen again and see if we can listen to that melody and what other instruments might be playing. And I'm going to write it down as we go along. So I noticed a few things there that weren't the melody that I decided to write in while we were going along. So I noticed that there was that bassoon sound, and then the sound was so mixed up it was hard for me to tell what other instruments were there, but I thought maybe there was a cello, and it kind of comes through here. So I also noticed that it was the same tune here at the beginning that came back here, but it sounded a little higher, so I wrote that down. And then I noticed that I thought maybe there's a viola sound in there, but again, not sure. There's lots of different sounds going on and it's pretty loud. Then notice that in my part I've got the long notes again that are not the melody, but they're obviously supporting things that are going on. Then this sounded like it was the same instruments that were playing the melody here in this 8-bar rest, but the melody itself sounded a bit different, and I noticed it was getting louder. The strings were making a shaky kind of sound like which I know is called a tremolo, but it doesn't matter if you don't know that name. And I noticed that while I was counting my last bar of rest, I could hear trumpets playing before I came in with my big fortissimo quaver. And then there was harp going on in that rest there. So let's see if we can pick up one more thing now in this piece of music. After this dee-da-da-dee-dum, there's something that happens here. I'm going to try and write in the melody, in the rhythm of that, in over my part, and also see if I can work out what instruments are playing. So let's go back to the beginning. And there's the strings again. So I can hear that boom, boom. It's a bit hard to tell what it is, but it's definitely something low on beat 2 and 3. And it sounds pretty brassy. So I'm playing trombone 1, so maybe it's another trombone, or maybe it's the tuba, or maybe it could be the timpani, could be the other thing that's happening there. So now we're up to about here. Oh, I notice the strings are still going there. So we've got that boom boom there again. And boom boom again. And here I am. Two, 2, 3. Oh, and I noticed that there was a cymbal there, a big crash. Did you hear it? So what we've done listening to this recording is we've been following our part, but what we've been really interested in, particularly because our part doesn't have a lot of notes, is what's going on in the rest of the ensemble. Now in this case it's an orchestra, but you're going to apply the exact same thing whether you're playing in an orchestra or a band or a choir, of practicing really listening and noticing what's going on. So we were mainly focusing on the melody here, be-da-da-dee-dum, but we also noticed some other things as we were going along. Now, these Carmen suites are fantastic pieces to do this exercise with. So you could go on and then do the same thing for the next movement. Now, notice here that it says number 2, tacit. If you've not played a piece before, an orchestra piece or a piece that's very long, you might not have seen this word before. So tacit means that you do not play that movement. You've got the movement off Okay, it's kind of like we're off school at the moment. So if you see one that says tacit, don't go and then try and follow along the recording because you don't have any music for that one. So number 3 is okay. Number 4 you can see is tacit as well. The next step we're going to look at is how we can check our answers to see how we did with our listening and our working out what was going on in the music. We've looked at our part, our trombone part, to see what we're playing in this piece. Now we want to check our answers. So we're going to have our trombone part, and we've also got the score. So this is the music for the whole orchestra. This is what the conductor sees. So just to give you a little bit of background, in our score we have the woodwinds up the top. So we've got G, D, E flute, which means grand flute, which means a big normal flute. Second grand flute, hautbois, which means oboe. We've got clarinets in La, which means clarinets in A. Basson, that's the French spelling instead of bassoons. We've got cors, which means horns, French horns. 2 sets of those. And then piston, which means trumpets or cornets. And then trombones, that's pretty self-explanatory. And then timbales is not the Latin ones. In this case, it means timpani. And then we've got triangle. GSSE case means grosse caisse, which means bass drum. And cymbals. We've got a harp. And then we've got our strings. So woodwinds, brass, percussion, strings. So violons is violins. Alto means viola. Violoncelle means cellos. Violoncelle. And C bass means contrabass, which means double bass. So here's our big brrrr, our scrubbing sound, the tremolo in the strings that we heard at the beginning. And now our guess on our music was, we thought on this melody it was bassoon because we had the cue there. That was pretty lucky. And then maybe cello. So let's first of all have a look at the bassoon because we know that the bassoon has that melody. So if we look at our bassoon, there's the bassoon melody. And let's look at who else has got it. So if we look here, that looks like someone's got the same kind of pattern as the bassoon, and that's the clarinet. So we didn't hear the clarinet. That was interesting. So I'm going to take my trombone part and I'm going to write clarinet on there. Now let's have a look. Does anyone else have this shape? If we go, oh, there it is. And what instrument is that? If we go across, we can see that's piston, that's trumpets. Now, did we have trumpets here? No, we didn't. So let's put trumpets. And now let's keep going down. Trumpets, no one, nothing, nothing, nothing. Not the melody, not the melody, not the melody. Oh, that's something different. And that, if we look to the side, is cello, and we had cello. So that was correct. So good job on listening to that. Now, if we keep following along with our we remember there was the boom boom, those 2 loud notes. So let's see if we can find out what the boom boom was. We thought low brass, maybe trombone, maybe tuba, maybe timpani. Now we don't actually have a tuba in this piece, so that's a good learning thing. So let's go here to, that is a boom boom right there. Rest, 2, 3. So let's see who that is. That's cors. That was horns, if you remember. So we can write horns. Then if we go down, let's see who else has got the boom boom. There's another one. And that's timpani. So tick, we were correct with our timpani guess. Keep going down. And you can see boom boom. There's the harp is doing it in 2 notes of boom boom. So we can add harp there. If you keep going down, who else has the boom boom? Get right to the bottom and you can see there it says pizz, which means pizzicato, plucking the string. And there's the double bass. So double bass. So that's who had those things. Now let's go ahead. If we count to where we heard the melody again, which was rest, be da da dee dum, bom bom, bim ba da da dum, bom bom, and we said it was the same people. So let's go up to this spot in the score and see if we can find out where the melody is. So if we count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So we're looking for bar 11. So if I count in my score, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, turn the page, 8, 9, 10, 11. Let's have a look. So 10, 11, there we go. So if we look at it, it looks like it's actually the same people again. That's our clarinet, bassoon, trumpet, cello, and you can see that it's those same people going all the way through here. And there is actually us, the trombone part, right there. So let's keep turning over the page and see, does anyone new join in? So again, we've got clarinet, bassoon, trumpet, cello. We thought maybe there was a viola in there, but we can see the violas are doing something completely different to the cellos. And then we heard, that was the trumpet, the bum, 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 loud trumpet that we heard in that bar before we come in. And if we look now, we can see that it's not only the trumpet, but also the bassoon, the clarinet, and the cello. So then the last thing to do would be, you could either choose to now look at it again through the part and try and listen for the things we didn't catch before. So trumpets and clarinet, see if you can listen out for those. That would be step number 1. The other thing you could do is now see if you can follow along the music using the score. So listen to the recording, follow along, and see if you can just watch the whole score. Now, looking at all of this at once is pretty tricky if you've never done it before. So you might just pick one instrument that you're going to follow along, maybe one of those melody instruments. So see how you go with having a listen for just the melody using your part, and then using the conductor's music, the score, as basically you're checking your answers in the back of the book. How did I go with listening to the music? So we've gone through the whole method of listening to the recording while we're writing down on our part what we hear, so that we know what is going on in the different instruments. So hopefully when you next get back to your ensemble rehearsal, whenever that is, you'll be able to have a much better understanding of what's going on in the rest of the orchestra or the band, which is going to help you be better and also know where to listen while you're playing and also while you've got rests. Happy musicking.